So if you've ever tried to build a community online, maybe for a school, a nonprofit, or just a cause you're really passionate about, you know that feeling. Today, we are diving into a huge mindset shift that could completely change how you look at every single post you make, turning that frustration into actual fuel for growth.
You've been there, right? I mean, we've all been there. You pour your heart and soul into crafting the perfect message. You find the best photo, you hit post, and then just crickets. It's so frustrating, and it can honestly feel like a massive failure. You start second-guessing absolutely everything. But what if that flop wasn't a failure at all? According to community builder Rochie Popack, we're looking at this whole thing completely backwards. She says the problem isn't our content, it's the lens we're using to judge the results. And that brings us to the core idea of this whole explainer, shifting our thinking from seeing mistakes to seeing indicators. Now, it might sound simple, but trust me, this one little change can totally transform how you learn from your audience and, ultimately, how you build a much stronger community.
Here it is, the central idea from Rochie. If you are creating from a place of genuine care, if your actual goal is to connect with people, to serve them, to help them grow, then nothing you do is a mistake. Every outcome, whether it feels good or bad, is simply an indicator.
So what's the real difference here? Well, a mistake pretty much tells you, hey, you did something wrong and it just stops you dead in your tracks. But an indicator says, whoa, look over here, something important is happening. You see how it shifts the focus? It moves it from you, the creator, to your audience, and it literally guides your very next step. Think of an indicator as your audience talking right back to you. It's like a signpost showing you what they connect with, what they scroll right past, and what they're truly feeling. It is not a judgment on your work. It's a free lesson on what resonates with them, if you just learn how to listen. Now look, this isn't just some nice theory. Rochie Popack learned all of this through direct, hands-on experience by putting content out into the world and just paying really close attention to what happened next. So let's get into some of her stories. All right, case study 1. Rochie posted this reel with an absolutely adorable clip of kids dancing. She told me she loved the footage so much she just couldn't bring herself to cut a single second of it. The post went live, but it didn't really take off or reach any new audiences.
Okay, so the old mindset would just scream, the reel was a mistake, total failure. But the indicator mindset, it revealed something really crucial. The families who are already part of the community, they absolutely love seeing that full, sweet moment. But prospective families, the new people who didn't have that personal connection yet, they needed a much stronger, clearer hook to pull them in. See, it wasn't a mistake. It was data telling her exactly how to tailor content for two totally different audiences.
Okay, next up is something I think we all secretly or not so secretly fear, the typo. So Rochie makes a post and bam, there it is, a misspelled word. And you know that immediate instinct, right? That hot flush of embarrassment and the urge to just delete it immediately before anyone else sees it. But before she could hit delete, she noticed something incredible happening down in the comments section. People weren't criticizing her, they were gently, kindly pointing it out, just being helpful and participating because they cared about the organization. What she thought would undermine her credibility actually created this amazing moment of genuine human connection. That typo became an invitation for the community to actually engage. And this led to one of the most powerful lessons of all. As Rochie puts it, communities aren't looking for perfect creators. They're looking for real people who respond honestly. That little human flaw showed that a real person was behind the screen, and people connected with that authenticity. Realness invites connection. It's that simple. What these stories really show us is that this is way less about chasing some mysterious algorithm and more about understanding something much, much deeper, human nature. And this all builds into a much bigger picture of how we can truly connect. So Rochie started to notice a pattern. These super simple videos of kids just moving, walking into a room, lining up for something, they consistently performed really well. Now, why is that? It's not luck, it's human nature. The movement creates this little sense of anticipation in our brains. We instinctively want to see what happens next. And that right there is the foundation of good marketing, tapping into how people naturally think and feel. It reminded her of something a young camper once said to her. In her sweet 10-year-old innocence, she was just excited about recognizing her friends from camp around town. But her words, wow, they hold such a profound truth. And that is exactly what happens when you start looking for indicators instead of mistakes. You literally tune your mind to the patterns of your community. Your intuition gets so much sharper. You start to see not just what they're liking, but what they're feeling. And then your whole strategy becomes aligned with that reality. So this all leads to a really fundamental reframing of why we even post in the first place. It's not just about filling up a content calendar. It's so much more. Posting is actually an act of listening. Rochie uses this brilliant metaphor. Think of a comedian on stage. If a joke doesn't land, they don't see it as a mistake. They see it as information from the audience, and they immediately adjust their next move based on the energy in the room. That's exactly what we should be doing with our content.
So, the crucial question you have to ask yourself is this. Is your focus solely on your event, your program, your big idea, or are you truly, honestly focused on how people experience it? Because when you make that shift to the experience, you start seeing the indicators everywhere.
And that's because when your intention is genuinely to serve your community, to connect with them, to help them see the value you offer, then every single post becomes a gift. It gives you a clue, a direction, a deep insight into what they actually need and how you can connect with them even more deeply. So, if there is just one thing you take away from all of this, let it be this powerful idea from Rochie Popack. When you create from a place of care, when your intention is truly to connect, to build, to serve, then nothing you post is ever wasted. Every post, every reaction, every so-called flop is just the next valuable step on the path to building a stronger, more authentic community.